In the 17 years she served as Executive Director, Cherel Henderson's passion for East Tennessee's past fueled remarkable growth for the East Tennessee Historical Society. While Cherel has thrown grand parties for others, tonight we pay tribute to her accomplishments with a look at her own piece of history.
She's a very humble person, but she's very strong. She's in the way of steel magnolia, at least I found her to be. She has very strong ideas, and she had a vision for the place that I think she was able to carry forth.
With Strawberry Plains just a few miles away, modern life has come to Gobbler's Knob in Jefferson County, where Cherel Henderson grew up. But Cherel clearly sees the places and people that shaped her love of genealogy and the history of East Tennessee. This was family land from her great-grandfather Joshua Bolin. Between her home and her grandparents was their large garden. Now someone else's place, her grandparents' home still stands, although much changed. Cherel's young life in Gobbler's Knob also put her squarely among 10 great-aunts and uncles, born between the 1870s and the 1880s.
I think my Aunt Nori, she was my grandfather's sister. I think she taught me, she piqued my interest in cemeteries. We would walk through the cemetery. I begged to go to decoration day with them. I couldn't wait because she'd always tell me stories. And I realized after going through the cemetery with her and all the stories, I realized these are real people. It was their lives that are buried here.
Cherel was a young teen when a Strawberry Plains elder pointed her to the McClung collection. She learned that what fascinated her was called genealogy. While raising 2 children, Cherel worked at J.C. Penney's in downtown Knoxville. But in her off hours, she was a regular at the McClung collection.
And she was one of the most interesting and interested history researchers I've ever met. She had good questions, and she was always following some very obscure piece of history down whatever rabbit hole she was going to go down.
Dr. Charles Bryan, ETHS's first professional director, knew Cherel from her frequent visits to the library, and he was looking for a secretary.
And he knew that I knew her really well, so he asked me if I thought she would work out well, and I said she would be fantastic if you can get her.
And I thought, it's just like a manna from heaven. She was very smart, very good, and knew history.
She knew people out in the community better than I did, better than we did. And a lot of her contacts were built on her work in family history and genealogy.
I would argue that, in many respects, she was the heart and soul of the museum as well, because of that direct connection to the material culture of East Tennessee. And that was key, to making that experience meaningful. I mean, her sustained commitment to the work day in and day out, it's inspiring and it's awe-inspiring.
Cherel's enthusiasm for helping people verify their ancestors and first families of Tennessee helped it grow, from a small project to now more than 16,000 approved applications, uncovering more and more stories that are relevant to our region's history.
And this is part of Cherel's genius, because I've never worked with anybody who understands that intersection between genealogy and history like Cherel.
Dr. Kent Whitworth recalls when the small staff was racing around as hundreds of guests converged on them for a huge First Families reunion, and Cherel saw the moment.
But we're just all going a million miles a minute in the office, and Cherel just stopped. And so we all, reacted and stopped as well. And she said, listen, I hear our history. And I don't even know what musicians were outside the Custom House, but you could hear it. And, I get goosebumps as I tell that story. She never missed the moment. And that's what I think makes her such a gifted public history professional.
I love history, and I want to get more people interested in it. And this has been something you can give your whole heart to. And we do have a wonderful staff. we've had a wonderful board of directors who've supported us through the years and who have helped to get us where we are.
While Cherel has retired from ETHS, she is not leaving history behind.
I want to get into writing and tell the stories that I've researched and make those available to the public. I feel like I want to bring these people forward in their stories so that other people can see how people lived and understand what people went through.
Keep making history personal, Cherel. History will thank you for it. And East Tennessee thanks you.
And I certainly wish you well. And job well done, my friend. And I'm glad I hired you.